nobody's really moving. Ladies and gentlemen, I usually every year when we do this, I remind you that I like the energy. So I'm giving you the energy and I'm going to expect to get some back from you, correct? So we've done this before for many of us, right? So we know we have a little bit of a contract about how we'll proceed throughout today, yes? A nice and vibrant audience. And we'll use the same adjectives for the MC. That works? All right, good. So imagine a world without debate. A world where everyone speaks but no one listens. Ideas go unchallenged, policies pass without questions, and progress grinds to a halt. The loudest voices win, not because they're right, but because no one dares to disagree. Aren't we glad that's not our story here in Jamaica? We believe in the power of debate to challenge, to inspire, and to create real and lasting change. Good morning, everyone. Oh, what a wonderful set of persons. They're keeping their agreement. And welcome to the official launch of the 2025 edition of the Public Sector Debate Competition. I did not even need to hold up a cue card to say applause. You're on it. I'm Kamisha Swaby, your master of ceremonies for today's event, and it's an absolute pleasure to be back with you. This year promises to be an exciting season of powerful perspectives, bold arguments, and inspiring ideas. A special welcome to those who are joining us via social media. And I love that this debate always has that kind of engagement because we know, I'm from country originally. So everybody's not going to come in for the launch. You know, Maria, we're not always coming for the launch, but when we reach the finals, we'll pack a bus. So some persons that are going to be on the bus, we know they're watching and rooting for you online. So welcome. Before we get into the meat of the launch, let's pause and I'll invite you to stand for the national anthem of Jamaica. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, can we just take a moment to appreciate how far this competition has come? The growth from year one to now has been absolutely phenomenal. Last year, is anybody here from last year? Yeah, all right. And you'd agree with me that it was quite an electric year. I recall the launch, I recall watching some of the debates online, and I recall being at a very, very exciting final. Teams across the public sector raised the bar, coming through with arguments that weren't just deeply researched, but delivered with such fire and conviction, you couldn't help but get caught up in the energy. It was debate at its finest, passionate, powerful, and unforgettable. And this year, the expectations are even higher. And the expectations are climbing. You hear? Chief Judge says, here, they are agreeing. The bar has been set. And now, all eyes are on the teams to bring even more fire, finesse, and fearless debate to the stage. 26 teams have registered for the competition this year. And let me tell you, you've shown up in fine form as you always do, ready to bring your A game. And I see that starting from today because everybody's looking really good. This year, we've got a dynamic mix hitting the debate stage. 19 seasoned teams are returning to prove they've still got what it takes. And 7 bold newcomers have joined the mix. And listen, 19 returnees, your newcomers, they are ready to shake things up. This is debate. There are no guaranteed winners. There are no guaranteed finalists. The final set of debaters will have to fight their way to that post. Now, I know the energy is high and you're all excited to be part of this amazing kickoff. So when you're capturing those epic moments, remember, not everybody made it into Kingston on the bus for the launch. No, you probably never got a bus. Somebody drove up this morning. So you have some persons who you have to, one, involve them in the conversation, and others who you have to let them know that the conversation is happening. So when you're capturing your epic moments today, don't forget to share them. Snap those pics and tag them with hashtag PSDebateJA2025. What's the hashtag? Fast studies you are, and let's get this conversation trending. Now, I would like to specially recognize some persons with us today. Representing the Minister of Finance and the Public Service is Deputy Financial Secretary, Mr. Wayne Jones. We also have Ms. Maria Thompson-Walters, Executive Director of the Transformation Implementation Unit, and Mr. Jermaine Barrett, Founder and Executive Director of the Jamaica Association for Debating and Empowerment. We also appreciate the support from senior executives of the participating entities who are here to support their teams. Please give them a round of applause. Now, while I'd love to give the grand welcome myself, like this is my show, it is not. And that honor belongs to someone else. Please join me in welcoming the person at the helm of this initiative, Ms. Maria Thompson-Walters, Executive Director of the Transformation Implementation Unit. Let's give her a warm and enthusiastic welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kamisha, thank you very much. DFS Wayne Jones from the Strategic Human Resource Management Division of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Even though DFS Jones is representing the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, DFS Jones in his own right is one of our esteemed leaders in the public sector, and we welcome him. Senior representatives of participating entities, the founder and executive director of JADE, Mr. Jermaine Barrett, members of the Transformation Implementation Unit, members of JADE, debating teams, members of the media, friends online, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of people. It is an absolute pleasure for me to stand here again another year to welcome you to the debates competition, to tell you thank you, first and foremost, for your continued support. When we started this debate competition, we were convinced that it was a good thing to do. But we also knew that the persons who came up with the idea, in school you would have called them nerds, eh? But boy, I'm telling you, if anybody told me that we would be here this year when we started, I would have had a little bit of a doubt. So thank you for your support. This has become a key event on the calendar of the public sector, and it has grown remarkably. It remains the only platform in the public sector that brings central government and public sector entities together. We continue to work towards and hope that there will be other opportunities for public bodies and central government to come together in this kind of fashion. Hint, hint, DFS. The competition so far has attracted a total of 44 entities with at least 20 teams at each staging. I extend a warm welcome to the 19 teams that have returned from last year's staging, and a warmer welcome, you'll forgive me, to the 7 new teams that have entered. And of course, our mantra at TIU is that we listen, we respond, and we try not to leave anyone behind. So we have listened. And based on the feedback, we've made some improvements to the competition. This year, we have an additional preliminary round. This means that each team will play 2 matches before elimination. Yes, you will have more opportunities to debate, and it also means that the debate is even more competitive. We have also, let me just check if my boss is here. No, she's not. All right, so we have also increased the total value of prizes and awards. Again. So this year, the total value is $5 million. However, what we love about this competition is not just about the winning. It's also about fostering a culture of open dialogue and progressive solutions. The competition is a testament to the power of debating. It sharpens our critical thinking, it refines persuasive communication, and cultivates the ability to engage in respectful discourse. We don't have to trace each other off. These skills are vital for public service and nation building, and it also encourages fair play. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not debate only for the sake of arguments. We are putting on this debating competition, and we're debating so that we're building a future workforce that is unafraid to speak up, that challenges conventional thinking. This is where transformation comes from, that contributes meaningful ideas and participates in development, which leads to transformation. But I want to speak to you briefly this morning about fair play. The competition is not about winning at all costs, and I know that we are a competitive people naturally. In this information age, I know there is a growing reliance on digital tools to make our work easier, and that's a good thing. However, I also know the temptation to rely on artificial intelligence to pull all of your information together, to structure your arguments. But I must remind you, this is not a competition of who can use AI better. The value of debate does not depend on who has collected the most facts available on the internet. The value is in the quality of discussion itself. It is in the benefit that you as debaters accrue from the process. It is in the expenditure of that benefit in propelling you forward, in work and in life. The reason for developing rhetoric is to develop your ability to persuade or influence discussions with other humans, not with AI. AI cannot anticipate where another human's brain will go. I urge you to use artificial intelligence responsibly. Adhere to the referencing standards that the team from JADE will take you through. We don't want to have to penalize any team. We've never done so. We don't intend to start. And I am sure as you go through the training sessions, you will be provided with the tools to help you to take the research, but make it your own. For this, I would like to thank our partners at the very, very beginning, JADE, for supporting us on this very important journey. It is safe to say without JADE, we would not be here. The work they do is invaluable in building a better public service. To the leaders and managers of the participating entities, thank you for supporting your employees to actively participate in the competition. This is definitely a win-win partnership. And I just want to pause to welcome Permanent Secretary from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. To the teams, you make this happen because there is no debate competition without you. Your voices matter and your ideas have power. Over the next few months, we look forward to seeing you challenge each other in the best way possible with facts, logic, and unwavering passion. That's the part you can't get from AI. I encourage you to approach each round with confidence, professionalism, and an open mind. It is not over until it is over. With that, I welcome all of you to the 2025 Public Sector Debate Competition and wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Maria. Wow, an important point there on AI. Love that. We'd also like to welcome Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Mrs. Grace Ann Stewart McFarlane, who's here with us. She's on that side. Welcome, PS. And we acknowledged as well Ambassador Sheila Sealy-Monteith. And one thing I know is that the permanent secretaries, the senior directors, if their teams ever make it to the finals, you will not be able to cheer more loudly than them. I've seen it. Now, as Maria shared, this competition is a testament to the power of debating itself. It sharpens critical thinking, refines persuasive communications, and cultivates the ability to engage in respectful discourse, skills that indeed are vital for public service and nation building. Additionally, she said, we listen and we... She didn't say that, but I knew you guys would say that. I knew it, right? But we do judge because this is debate, and we have to have adjudicators. But I knew because I heard it where I was sitting, and I said, aha, someone else is going to say that too. All right? So last year we said it was what? Electric, right? It was really, really an exciting year. And now it's time to look back at the highlights of last year's competition. So please turn your attention to the screens.
Teams from across the public sector going after the dream to take the crown to become known as the public sector's greatest debaters. The first round is capped with jubilation. Going deep into the competition, through the rounds they make it their mission to get to the finals. Each team must take down their rival. From moots on abortion.
It's a little bit hypocritical for them to say that the lack of consciousness in the first 16 weeks renders the fetus not human and therefore having no right.
Moreover, I will ask you, whose rights and health would you prioritize? The health of a living, autonomous individual, the woman, over the potential life of a fetus?
To social intervention.
Land regularization, Mr. Speaker, removes the massive social divide and replaces it with meaningful inclusion, respectable living, more opportunities for growth and development, and public safety. This powerful land regularization tool unlocks possibilities where previously there was normalized hopelessness and resignation in these former victims of crime and violence.
Essentially, these programs can reduce the number of gang members by introducing the youth to better opportunities and equipping them with marketable skills for long-term employment. Now, this is a stark difference, Mr. Speaker, from Trenchtown and Seaview Gardens, for example, which were a part of a land regularization program. Now, unfortunately, the citizens within those communities still face issues of unemployment and inadequate access to education. Now, why? Because land regularization does not help to shoulder the citizens' immediate needs.
Discussions on bank fees.
There is ample evidence to show that the absence of legislation is having an adverse impact on customers. Ladies and gentlemen, the introduction of banking fees is solely an income-generating objective. Please note that banking fees started under the guise of cost recovery, but it has long moved out of that realm. They have simply taken on the hold down and take away mentality, and they simply increase fees as they see fit.
An investigation done by Anthony Birchwood and Erson Phillip in 2017 looks at the factors affecting commercial banking fees in the CARICOM region, comparing average bank fees across the region. Of 7 countries compared, Jamaica had one of the lowest ATM fees, monthly service charge fees, and dormant account fees. This would imply that Jamaica is within the regional standard and in some cases below what is being charged. In Jamaica alone, there are 9 commercial banks, 3 building societies, and 2 merchant banks. Multiple banks decreases the chance of a monopoly on the banking industry and also increases the market efficiency and competitive environment in the sector.
And reduced work week.
How would you then be able to convince the general public, taxpayers like ourselves, that you need an extra 48 hours along with the general 25 that you would have gone for departmental and vacation and sick days?
My opponents, have you met the general public, the taxpayers that you speak of? They are almost always tired. They are almost always burnt out. Believe me, my opponent, we would not need to convince them that they need more time.
Each team presenting points that are valid. They represent their organizations as well as the public sector of this proud nation. With eloquence and witty arguments.
It is clear that my opponent has put forward arguments with no teeth, just gum.
Now everybody grew up and hear about how hot Pepsi and rusting nail dash your belly fast. But what nobody ever talks about are the real and present dangers of unsafe illegal abortions.
They use their words as instruments, presenting points and rebutting claims, hoping in the end it will be their name called for best speakers and, more importantly, winners of multiple clashes to eventually win their matches. Which team will it be? Who will we see being crowned as 2025 champions? Tune in to our socials for all the exciting actions.
What a recap. What a ride that was. Now, we were not short on excellent debaters last year, but we were also not short on just, these quips that they will always be memorable, right? So what a year. Last year's competition, ladies and gentlemen, brought the heat, with some truly fierce contenders lining up to the stage. So the big question is, who is back to defend their pride and the title, and who is stepping into the ring for the very first time? Show of hands, who is here to cheer for a returning champion? Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Justice, I see you. Okay, and who is ready to root for a new team? All right. It's time for the official roll call. Whether you're a returning Titan or a bold newcomer, go ahead, stand tall, represent your team, and let us know you are ready to make your mark. Let's see who is here. Returning third place winner, the teaching service. Newcomer, the judiciary of Jamaica. All right. I hear murmurs. All right. Because the judiciary is here? Well, we will see. Remember, the judiciary, they won't be the ones doing the judging. They'll be on the other side. Returning, Development Bank of Jamaica. Nice. Also returning, Water Resources Authority. Joining the competition from abroad, I will say. No, but from all over the world. The Jamaica Tourist Board. Right there. We also have returning to the competition, the Cannabis Licensing Authority. We have another newcomer. Let's welcome the National Fisheries Authority. NFA, they are certainly ready to compete. Returning, we have the Tourism Products Development Company, TPDCO. Let's put our hands together for another new entrant, the Universal Service Fund. And they've gotten connected to the competition. Returning, let's put our hands together for the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. And let's give a warm welcome to the competition to the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. All right, and will they be the standard for the competition? That's left to be seen. Okay. We have returning to the competition, the Jamaica National Heritage Trust. Hi, JNHT. Returning to the competition after an exceptional performance last year, welcome the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. I see you, PS. We also welcome a returning competitor, the Real Estate Board. Welcome. New entrant. Now, we always have to make sure that they feel very welcome when they come in, right? Another new entrant for us. Put your hands together for the National Irrigation Commission. Welcome. Returning with the strength of their data, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica. Returning, National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA. Let's welcome back to the competition as well, the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. All right. No, but if it's even you alone, you have to be proud and represent. Thank you. Returning second place winner, so something to prove, you know. Put your hands together for the Administrator General's Department. Returning competitor as well, the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA. New entrant, the Ministry of Tourism. All right. We have returning to the competition, the Jamaica Information Service, JIS. JIS, I'm sure, is one team that has been consistently here. All right. Returning to the competition, we also have the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Returning, defending champions, Ministry of Justice. Anybody want to say they want justice this year? We'll see. All right. Returning to the competition, we also have Agro Investment Corporation. And our final competitor for the 2025 season is returning competitor, the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs. All right, so some of our competitors are here and some are not, but we know that they've not withdrawn from the competition. They're just not here today. So please still stand at the ready. Will the Ministry of Justice come out swinging in defense of their title? Or will a new winner be crowned this year? Who will it be? Well, you know, at least one team was bold enough to answer the question. I know you are eager to find out, but Ministry of Foreign Affairs can't give us the answer today. You will have this answer in 3 months or so. At this time, though, no, give yourselves all a round of applause for coming back to this competition. So if you're a newcomer, I want you to understand that you're entering a fantastic arena with formidable competitors. So you have to bring your A game, your best product. Because, listen, there are no free prizes. Right, Maria? Everything is earned. And you've seen the recap. Fierce and passionate competition is the expectation. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we will have the distinct honor of hearing from Deputy Financial Secretary, Mr. Wayne Jones, representing the Minister of Finance. Please, let's make him welcome.
Thank you, Kamisha. Ladies and gentlemen, before I put on my ministerial skin, let me first add my own words of gratitude to Maria and the TIU team for introducing this very important activity in the life of the public sector. As you have heard before, we're on a path of transformation, but it doesn't entail just fixing systems and procedures and equipment, and of course fixing compensation, but the quality of the public sector worker is also under attention, and this activity serves to contribute very positively to creating that ideal public officer that we all would like as Jamaicans. I want to also thank the participants and all the supporters, because without your supporters, as we say in cricket, your 12th man, Without them, you're hardly anything on the field of play. And I'm sure you get the energy from the supporters. So we want to thank the supporters too and look forward to a very exciting renewal. And so this morning, I bring you an address by the Honorable Favour Williams, Minister of Finance and the Public Service. And I will read from her message, her address. Firstly, I recognize permanent secretaries. At one stage, I was wondering if we had any, and then I know that P.S. Monteith from Foreign Affairs arrived, and I said that's plural. And then I was told that the champion team had their leader in the house. And so, welcome. So, permanent secretaries, and I'm sure there are PSs online who are checking out what's going on. Heads of public sector entities, Maria Thompson-Walters, the Executive Director and leader of the TIU, Mr. Jermaine Barrett, our really devoted partner in this business, Executive Director of JADE, debating teams, members of a press corps, ladies and gentlemen, friends and supporters all, a very good morning. It is certainly a great pleasure for me to officially launch the 2025 edition of a public sector debate competition. I am sure you will all agree with me that this is an excellent engagement platform for employees. That is why you are here, correct? Yes. Indeed. It is heartwarming to see so many of you here today as you get ready to participate in the competition. It reassures me that we are ready to tackle the challenges facing the public sector and indeed our dearly beloved country. As I look around the room, I see a group of individuals who are not just participating in debate competition, but I see future leaders, innovators, problem solvers. Your presence here signals your commitment to improving our public sector, your desire to be part of a conversation, and your willingness to challenge the status quo. And for that, I commend you. It is no secret that our public sector is at a crossroads, facing contemporary challenges that test our resilience and adaptability. Economic pressures, technological advancements, and changing societal expectations are reshaping the way governments operate globally. Jamaica is no exception. Citizens are demanding greater efficiency, increased transparency, and a public service that meets their needs with professionalism and care. To respond effectively, we must embrace innovation. We must reimagine our systems and equip our workforce with the tools and skills necessary to thrive in a rapidly evolving landscape. In this sense, we can create an environment that fosters both employee satisfaction and exceptional customer service delivery. It is against this background that the government has been working assiduously to transform the public sector, not only for the citizens, and indeed all of us who rely on public service, but also for the employees who provide those services. Excellent service, my friends, is not an abstract concept. It is a significant component of building a modern and responsive public service. And that is why the government has a program dedicated to improving customer service in the public sector to ensure our citizens consistently receive high-quality services. In the same vein, we have implemented targeted strategies to maintain and attract the skills needed to run a modern, efficient, and effective public administration. We have undertaken the most comprehensive restructuring of public sector compensation to make it fairer, simpler, and more transparent. This investment directly affects over 113,000 public sector workers. Yes, over 113 public sector workers, offering them a better sense of stability and a renewed sense of purpose. I'm therefore pleased that last week we reached an agreement with our union partners on a major sticking point under the new compensation system, that of the payment of increments. And I'm sure you are pleased to know that as well, aren't you? Consequent on the agreement reached with the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, employees will advance incrementally along their substantive salary bands in keeping with Circular Number 3 issued last week. These payments will be made during the first quarter of this fiscal year. Through the Transformation Implementation Unit, the government has provided access to free training for public sector workers under the Reskilling, Upskilling, and New Skilling project, commonly called RUN, R-U-N. I am advised that employees have been eagerly signing up and completing the courses. And since I am presenting the minister's address, I can say personally that I know employees are indeed signing up and enjoying the benefits of that engagement. This is an opportunity to enhance your skill set and competitive advantage. Skills that were once thought to be futuristic are now essential. I urge you to grasp these training opportunities, stay ahead, and remain relevant in this ever-changing world of work. I commend the TIU for these bold initiatives to positively impact the public sector. We are agreed that change does not happen in isolation. It requires collaboration, engagement, and a shared vision. This is where you, the debaters, come in. Through this competition, you will debate issues that are central to the future of our public service. You will tackle topics that require bold thinking and innovative solutions. I urge you to embrace this opportunity with passion and with purpose. Let this competition spark your creativity and inspire you to bring forth solutions that can reshape our public sector, ensuring we remain relevant and effective in a rapidly changing world. Throughout this competition, I encourage you to engage with one another, to listen actively, and to appreciate the diverse opinions that will emerge. By doing so, we can cultivate a public sector that reflects the needs and aspirations of all citizens. Let us commit to creating an environment where everyone feels empowered to contribute their unique talents and perspectives, leading to policies and services that are equitable and accessible to all. As we continue the transformation of the public service, we will commence discussions with public sector unions on how we drive performance and productivity. In this regard, your participation is vital. Be active contributors to the dialogue surrounding performance management and help us shape a system that motivates and inspires every worker. Today, we can create a public service that not only delivers on its promises, but does so with compassion, excellence, and dedication. As we engage in these debates, remember that you are part of something larger than yourselves. This competition represents our shared commitment to build a public sector that serves as a model of efficiency, accountability, and compassion, one that can instill hope and confidence in our citizens about the services that they receive. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I want you to remember that you are not just debaters, you are change makers. Your words have power, your ideas have impact, your contributions matter. Use this platform wisely, engage with passion, debate with purpose, lead with vision. I wish you all the best. May your debates be insightful, your perspectives enlightening, and your passion for public service unwavering. Let us use this competition to inspire, innovate, and ignite the transformation we wish to see in Jamaica's public service. Thank you, and all the best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jones, using this passion to inspire, innovate, and ignite the transformation we want to see in the public service. Fantastic. All right, just a little announcement. There is a vehicle that's blocking the entrance. So if you are the driver of 4480JM, it's a Toyota Latio. We need you to go to your car and move it. So 4480JM Toyota Latio, please move your vehicle. Okay, so let's come back to some excitement. Now, we're at one of the moments we've all been waiting for, the big reveal. Team selection, so who are you going up against, and what will you be debating? The excitement is real. The stakes are very high because I heard that, again, the prizes, the prize total has been increased. And the journey officially begins right now. See my basket? And to help me kick off this crucial part of the program, I'm joined by TIU Communications Specialist Tamika Gunmighty and Paula Shea Hastings. Please give them a round of applause. So here's what I'm going to do. Cup A, B. And then I'm going to choose what you will be debating. Are you ready? Okay. So let's go. I always love this part. Team A, proposition, Water Resources Authority. They will be up against Team B, National Irrigation Commission. Wow, that one will flow very well. Let us see if this aligns with anything related to water and flow. Okay. All right. Be it resolved that the minimum wage in Jamaica should be tied to the cost of living. Be it resolved that the minimum wage in Jamaica should be tied to the cost of living. That is our first pairing. All right. Team A in proposition, match 2, Jamaica Tourist Board. They'll be up against, somebody said Ministry of Tourism. I don't know. No. The Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs will play the Jamaica Tourist Board. They will be debating. Be it resolved that paper-based systems are a greater threat to public trust than cyber attacks. Be it resolved that paper-based systems are a greater threat to public trust than cyber attacks. Let's go with our third pairing. In proposition, we will have the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. They're up against the opposition, Agro-Invest Jamaica. And their moot is, be it resolved that public sector wages should be capped as a fixed percentage of GDP. Be it resolved that public sector wages should be capped as a fixed percentage of GDP. Where did I go first? Okay, let's go with our next matchup. The proposition will be Judiciary of Jamaica. And the opposition will be the Passport, Immigration, and Citizenship Agency. Here's the moot. Be it resolved that Jamaica should implement import substitution policies as part of its economic development agenda. Be it resolved that Jamaica should implement import substitution policies as part of its economic development agenda. Let's go to our next match, where the proposition is the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, and their opposition, the National Environment and Planning Agency. Their moot. Okay. Be it resolved that despite competitive pressures posed to PPV operators, JUTC subsidies provide a net benefit to society. Be it resolved that despite competitive pressures posed to PPV operators, JUTC subsidies provide a net benefit to society. Who's first now? Okay. All right. Next match, the proposition will be National Fisheries Authority. And the opposition, Administrator General's Department. And the moot. Be it resolved that the rapid urbanization of Jamaica's rural parishes presents more challenges than benefits to sustainable development. Be it resolved that the rapid urbanization of Jamaica's rural parishes presents more challenges than benefits to sustainable development. Let's go to our next match, where we will hear arguments proposed by the Development Bank of Jamaica and opposed by the Ministry of Tourism. They will debate. Be it resolved that the government of Jamaica should deprioritize sectors where the country lacks a competitive advantage. Be it resolved that the government of Jamaica should deprioritize sectors where the country lacks a competitive advantage. Let's go to our next match. Proposition is the Tourism Product Development Company, and the opposition, Teaching Service. I believe you. The moot. Be it resolved that the privatization of national assets, Trans-Jamaican Highway, Wigton Wind Farms, and Caymanas Track, etc., is, on balance, more beneficial to Jamaica. Be it resolved that the privatization of national assets such as Trans-Jamaican Highway, Wigton Wind Farm, and Caymanas Track, etc., is, on balance, more beneficial to Jamaica. Thank you, Paula. All right. Proposition for the next match will be the Cannabis Licensing Authority. And they're up against the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Here is the moot. Be it resolved that INDICOM should be granted the authority to make arrests in cases involving misconduct by members of the security forces. Be it resolved that INDICOM should be granted the authority to make arrests in cases involving misconduct by members of the security forces. Next match. The Statistical Institute of Jamaica will be with the proposition, and side opposition is the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. Their moot. Be it resolved that artificial intelligence, Maria, is a necessary tool for an efficient and accountable public sector. Be it resolved that artificial intelligence is a necessary tool for an efficient and accountable public sector. Next match. Proposition will be the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. And the opposition, Jamaica National Heritage Trust. Here's the moot. Who's making a deep sigh? Be it resolved that flexible work arrangements should be standardized across the public sector. This is not the debate. Be it resolved that flexible work arrangements should be standardized across the public sector. I won't tell you my opinions, but yeah, I love that one. Next matchup, are we ready? We will hear in proposition the Universal Service Fund up against, just two left over here, okay, up against the Jamaica Information Service. Their moots, I have 3 moots and 2 matches, right? All right, their moot. Be it resolved that Jamaica should implement a legally mandated debt ceiling. Be it resolved that Jamaica should implement a legally mandated debt ceiling. Okay. Last one now? Okay. Proposition is over here. So, from our last 2 teams, proposing will be the Ministry of Justice. And the opposition, Real Estate Board. Okay, your moot. Be it resolved that the mandatory use of body-worn cameras by law enforcement is essential for accountability and crime reduction in Jamaica. Be it resolved that the mandatory use of body-worn cameras by law enforcement is essential for accountability and crime reduction in Jamaica. All right, just like that, we've wrapped up the team selection and the moot assignments. Thank you. Now, I heard some deep sighs, but I'm not taking those on because I know you're going to go back and you're going to be really prepared. And the debate is going to be really exciting, right? Don't worry, though, if you missed jotting down your matchup or the full moot, Team TIU has your back. All match details will be shared later today, so stay tuned and you'll have it verbatim so you can do your prep accordingly. And please be reminded to get your supporters, get your fans involved. Don't forget to vote and remind your coworkers, family, and friends to vote for their social media fan favorite. Voting will open this Friday, April 11, and run through midnight on July 3rd. Cast your votes on Instagram at TIU_Jamaica and Facebook TIU Jamaica. Let's get those likes, shares, and hashtags rolling. Let the debates begin, and may the best team win. On an important note before we wrap up, registration for training closes today, April 8th. We strongly encourage at least one member from every team to attend a session. It is a valuable opportunity to sharpen your skills, get insider tips, and gear up for debate day with confidence. And I know we might have people who feel like they've debated already or they've watched the debate, but there are more nuances to debate which the JADE team can certainly take you through. Let's make sure every team is prepared to bring the heat, because we're having a fiery season, yes? Good. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at, and a hot summer, that's correct, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of the official launch of the 2025 Public Sector Debate Competition. Thank you for being such an engaging and energetic audience. You've truly set the tone for an exciting season, and I'm glad I will be here to witness. Before you go, feel free to enjoy some light refreshment. The TIU is always taking care of us. And teams, please make sure you make your way to the front of the room for your official photos to be taken. All right? I'll stand by so I can call the teams and you can come accordingly. I'm Kamisha Swaby, and it has truly been my pleasure guiding you through this morning's proceedings. See you at the grand final in July, and I wish you a very, very successful competition. Thank you. So I know we'll set up for the photos. You can let me know what side we'll be doing that, and I'll help you with marshalling the teams to the front.